Good evening, friends, followers and channel members. It's rather windy up here. Welcome to Manchester Airport, where it is indeed windy and gusting. So, great place for our live Q&A today. Of course, in the real world, it is night time in Manchester, but I thought we'd have a nice view. So we're on live weather, of course, but not live time. Makes no difference, however, to us. But it does mean we get to enjoy the beautiful sights and sounds of VATSIM. Hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. If not, I will turn the volume of the sim down, because in my headphones it does sound extremely loud, the weather. So if you guys could just let me know in the chat how that is sounding, whether the balance is okay. I don't obviously, of course, usually broadcast from outside of the flight deck, but it's great to see so many of you here already coming in for this live Q&A session. What I really like is the Emirates down there parked on stand 12. That's normally where the A320 parks when it visits Manchester. So, hello Alan, how are you? Thank you for coming on by. Christian, good evening. Yeah, it looks like it's daytime still in Manchester. It's amazing. The days are getting longer and longer by every passing day. Obviously not that long. I sound as grumpy as ever. Brilliant. Thanks, Christian. AB Travels, hello. February's Virtual Pilot, hello. Zix, hey Zix, not spoken for a while, mate. Hope you're good. Virtual Pilot VATSIM is full today. VATSIM is usually really busy on a Wednesday evening in the UK. So if I do get a chance, it's quite rare that I get a chance to broadcast and do a stream on a Wednesday evening. So if I do get a chance to stream on a Wednesday evening, normally I'll be flying somewhere in the UK. Particularly now that we have the holding feature working in the FlyByWire A320, just because it's midweek madness, isn't it? In Gatwick, as every Wednesday night. So Paul Nether King, thank you for telling me sounds all okay. The Aviator, I'm very good, thank you. And Dark Fury, boo to you too. Racing Panda, gusty is an understatement. Well, let me just quickly get up the live meta. I'm just grabbing this from the app on my phone. So the live weather here at Manchester is telling us that, what have we got? We have currently got, as of 19 minutes ago, wind is 250 degrees, 26 knots, gusting 41. Oh, that's God bless everyone coming into land here at Manchester. To be fair, well, it's only 20 degrees offset from the runway heading, so it's not like a true crosswind. Of course, we couldn't do a 41 knot crosswind anyway. But yeah, and low pressure, 988 hectopascals, so very, very low. Which is the storm. First of two storms we've got coming over the UK. This one is Storm, oh, do you know what, I've forgotten its name. But I know that Storm Eunice is later on in the week, because it made me chuckle. One of my good friends' wife's called Eunice, so I'm sure he's taken a ribbon about that this week. But yeah, I've forgotten the name of this first storm that is hitting us. Bravo 632, good evening to you. Danny Rubble is also extremely windy in the Netherlands. Just landed in, oh wow, in Amsterdam. They've got 34, gusting 49. Hard landing from your side. No problems with a hard landing in weather like that. Danny, main thing is get down nice and safe. Ryanie, good evening to you. Viticus, hello, looking out of the window, and there it's completely dark. Christian, Wednesday always have a Munich event 3 times a month. It's ATC trainee day in Dusseldorf. Yeah, Wednesday night just seems to be a great night for VATSIM. LA Kids 143 found that rewatching your tutorials after flying the 320 for a while answered a lot of potential questions. Well, that's good, LA Kids 143, great to hear. And that's the reason of this stream. We don't do these that often. Usually once every couple of months we get a live Q&A stream in. And the reason I do this is because I miss a lot of the questions during live streams normally, because, well, obviously I'm concentrating on flying the aircraft. So for anyone who has ever asked questions and had them missed, well, today is the perfect chance to get your questions in, and hopefully, if we're lucky, get an answer out of me as well. Because what about the new flare feature on the 32NX? Have I felt a difference? I'll be honest with you, I've not noticed a new flare feature. When was that added? Not quite sure what that entails. I've not been keeping up to date for the past 48 hours. I've had a rather hectic 48 hours outside of Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I've not really felt too much difference on the landing. There is a different flare feature on the 321 Neos in real life, but not the 320 Neos as far as I'm aware. So I presume that's just an update that FlyByWire's made, presumably to try and make it a bit neater. What I really like doing when weather is like this. Oh look, it's starting to rain here in Manchester. That's quite nice. We might go for a tour of the airport in a little bit. I love Manchester Airport, and Mako Simulations has done a grand job of replicating it. What I do love doing in weather like this is throwing Flight Radar 24 up and just seeing all the holding stacks and the go-arounds that take place. So Danny, you can see the wiggle-waggle approach from the Emirates 149 into Amsterdam. It's now diverting to Paris. Oh, that's a big divert, isn't it? How many times did he have a go at that, Danny? Once or twice? He can obviously have a couple of goes, but if he thinks he's not going to get in or fuel's running low, there's no point having a second go, is there? Again, you're going to be inbound Manchester in about 50 minutes. You're not going to have the smoothest landing. Are you on VATSIM as well? We may catch your landing. Christian, your storm is arriving tomorrow. You've already parked the car away from any trees. That is a good shout. Dark Fury, Storm, Dudley and Eunice. That's it, Dudley. Couldn't recall that one. Scott Moon, you watch the tutorial videos. Do I have a downloadable document that you can print out to set up VOR ILS, and when to do that? More of a manual on VOR ILS setup. Well, VOR setups, what you've got to remember with the Airbus is that they're not like Cessnas or Boeing in that for that fact. They can't track a VOR like a Boeing can. So VOR approaches, although they're still VOR approaches, the flight management system of the Airbus can still almost track them. If you're going to track them properly, you have to do it manually. So I don't think, in fact I'm almost certain, that I haven't done a VOR tutorial on in Microsoft Flight Simulator with the fly-by-wire, so perhaps that's something I need to have a look at doing. But in terms of ILS approaches, there's quite a few tutorials on the channel with regards to different ILS approaches, whether you're going to do manual landings or auto lands as well. Racing Panda, Leeds Bradford will be testing tonight. Yeah, indeed. Gary Bobbin, hello. Dark Fury, so DSA, that's my local airport, and Darks, gusting up to 38. Yeah, well, of course, their runway as well is more of a north to south runway configuration, isn't it? So that really is a true crosswind of 26, gusting 38. So good luck to anyone coming up there. Do I fly the 320 in real life? No, sadly not. They wouldn't let me with my eyesight. So the new flare feature, because the A320X announced it on the Facebook page, and the thrust reaction too. Oh well, I'm going to have to catch up on that because I'd not seen that. Has that been merged into one of the versions yet? Usually the dev or experimental, hasn't it? It's been a while since we've had a new stable build. Dark Fury, what do I think? Two builds A310 and Heathrow. A310's a classic, isn't it? Still used by oh, I've forgotten the name. I can see the airline in my head. I think it's sort of like a oh, it's going to do my head in now. There's not too many of them flying around. I can't remember if it's an African airline. It's just a white aircraft with green text. Someone will let me know. But I think they're the only airline now that flies 310s as passenger aircrafts. But yeah, that's a classic, isn't it? And Heathrow, that will be interesting, the fact that they're doing a Heathrow. Are they the same company that did Gatwick as well? Of course, we've got a great Gatwick, and I don't really see anything wrong with the Heathrow. But of course, the default, I say default Heathrow, only in the top tier of Microsoft Flight Simulator, the Premium Deluxe version, was Heathrow included. So I do understand why they're bringing out a Heathrow. Peter Scarab, good evening, Peter. Oh, thank you very much for your very kind, very early super chat again, Peter. You know this new this massive wage increase you got yesterday for your promotion. It's all going to be gone. It's all going to be gone on YouTubers. Not that I'm complaining. Peter, thank you very much. Just because he can. Hope you've not spent too much day with your head in paperwork today again, Peter. With all that money comes great responsibility. I just hope you don't stop controlling as much as you used to as you've worked your way up the ladder, Peter. Unless, of course, that's how you want it to do. But maybe it's a little less stressful. HD, rain up north in Manchester. There's a surprise. It's been awful all day. I think Captain George is still... sorry, First Officer George. He's not been promoted. First Officer George has been crossing his legs for quite a while today because I refused to take him out. I actually, looking at the weather outside, I would rather he have just gone on our hard wooden floor and I'd have cleaned it up. It would have been less rain and water and wetness than it would have been had I taken him for a walk. Jacko Dan Tudor says, you have a problem with sound inside the fly-by-wire 320, no cockpit sounds. Is that a known problem? Not that I'm familiar with. I've never had an issue with cockpit sounds. I think they're okay. So perhaps there's something not quite right with the setup. I'd recommend reinstalling that. Make sure you delete everything, including the packages, in the packages folder, and then reinstalling that through the installer. Christian says it's a good thing HD is here, and HD says he's just going to play dumb tonight. Fair enough. Danny, you counted 15 holders in 30 minutes. Well, obviously with the weather they can't get them in as fast as they would like. Brian, if you do a flight over 4 hours it becomes very stuttery. However, if the flight is less than 4 hours it's fine. Any ideas using the FlyByWire A320? I was in the sim today. I was testing some stuff. I was in the sim for well over 4 hours today, from start to finish. I had no issues. But I wasn't in the fly-by-wire, so I can't remember the last time I flew the fly-by-wire for that long. Might be something that that needs to be tested. I'm not sure. AP, would I like to take a piloting career over in real life or stick to the sim? I'd love to do it in real life, AP, but sadly then I'm getting old now. Well, 37. And my eyesight doesn't get better with age, does it? Nobody's usually does. Driver Day, you tried a trip across to the States the other day. When entering the waypoints into Madui, it wanted you to enter the NAT and then gave you coordinates. How do you enter that in the Madui? That is a very good question. Well, look, Lee, let's jump up to my aircraft and see if we can show you how we would enter them. I am glad HD is here because I think it's different in real world compared to how we do it in the sim. Let's just go and have a look. So let me just come down here. So if I wanted to add a waypoint, let's just oh, hang on, no, wrong menu. Let's go to our data page, stored waypoints. Right, okay, so if we wanted to add one, let me just check. We would need to give an identification first of all. So let's pop in, I don't know, we'll pop in test A. So that's the name, or tester as it's now being called. Let's just pick a latitude and longitude coordination. So if we went, I don't know, 40. Do you know what? I'm useless with latitude and longitudes. What are the current NAT tracks? I'm going to have to do a quick Google, see if I can find them. Just bear with me 1 second. So if we have the current NAT tracks, the North Atlantic tracks, let's find one. Shall we? Right, so if, let's see, so if we were heading over to America, we would want to pop in one of the, let's go with hang on, let's try 50 north. It's normally something like 50 north, 40 west, isn't it? Now, how would this get entered? So it might, is it 5000.0 north and then slash 40000. Just counting that. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5.0 west. Will that accept it? Entry out of range. Now I've clearly just not popped in that right. Let me just try let's try another one. Hang on. It would help if I had some proper coordinates to work with here. Let me try 53 north, which would be 5300. So it'll be 53 north. Oh, hang on, get rid of that second decimal. 53 north and 30 west. Will it accept that? No, it's not letting me pop that in either. Let's have a look. So the way that the aircraft is taking them isn't as you would do it in real world. What you're going to have to do is, and I can't remember, I have done this and got it working, but funnily enough I've been doing something a bit different today, so it's I've got the wrong sort of format. Can't quite understand why we can't pop that in. Don't type in north or west, is that right? But north and west is rather important. If you don't put north and west in there, that might be a problem. Let's try 3000.0 north, and is it 030 west? 030 west. Let's try that. Ah, there we go. I just needed the 030 west. So that's how you enter latitude and longitude coordinations. God knows where that is. Somewhere over the Atlantic somewhere. So that's 53 north, 030 west. That's how we'd pop those in. So there you go. Hopefully that's answered the question for typing in latitude and longitude. Just scrolling back up on the chat, and Brit BFG, have I ever considered becoming a controller on VATSIM? I'd love to, but actually coming into control on VATSIM is really, really difficult to do. Not because it's hard. Well, I presume, of course, it's hard. There's certain training and that you've got to go through, but I think there's a massive waiting list, particularly here in the UK. There's a huge waiting list in the UK to get trained up by the controllers that are certified to do the training. Now, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but certainly in the UK, you can expect to wait up to anywhere between 6 to 12 months. I think it was last I heard. So that's the issue. But otherwise, yeah, I'd love to be ATCO. That was what I wanted to do prior to being a pilot. Love to be ATCO. Would have been a dream job for me. Oh, nice British Airways just popped in there on the stand. Okay, you found out the FlyByWire are coming into the operation again. Yeah, they've had that license a while now, haven't they? But obviously COVID hasn't helped. Christian, was it Air Afrique? It could have been. It could have been the one that the company that flies the A310s. We've got any predictions from the Flex 10 performance calculator? Well, the good news is this has been updated again today, so Toga takeoff values are now available. Funnily enough, if anyone's about to do a flight and they need a computation, then let me know and I'll put this to the test and I'll give you some flex temps and V-speeds, etc. But yeah, this has been updated again today, and a lot more data is getting pushed in over the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully we're going to get the the first version released. This PC version will be released. Gary, AIG is back up for anyone that uses it. Really? Oh, that's great news. They did say mid-February, haven't they? So that's pretty much bang on the nail. So anyone that wants AIG traffic, which is what you're seeing on screen now for VATSIM, that's back up and running. That is great, great stuff. Brit PFG, apparently they've added ARCs into the McDo and FlyByWire. Would be cool to get an updated video on that. Also, how to load passengers in the McDo. Loading passengers into the McDo is pretty straightforward. That's just done by going to your McDo menu, ATC, AOC menu, weight and balance, and from there you can then request it, or can you actually add it? I don't know if you can put a payload in. Let's just pop in a random payload and see if you can actually do this, or whether you can only do it via SimBrief. Oh, I see. Looks like you can only do that via SimBrief, so it is very much SimBrief orientated. I don't think you can add the passenger numbers here, looking at that either. I'm just guessing so. Oh, you can. Oh, right. So if you want to pop in a number of passengers, you can put that in and board them. You can't add in the payload, it seems, but you can add in a number of passengers. So that's quite neat if you want to do it that way. And as for DME arcs, yeah, we'll have to go to an airport that's got a DME arc to fly. Ryan E, could I explain more about QNH and pressure? What specifically, Ryan, do you need to know? So, obviously, when you're departing, you're using what's called local QNH. So, for example, local QNH here in Manchester it was real low, wasn't it? It was something like 988. The standard is 1013. Of course, I'm talking here in the UK and not like they do in the USA, where standard is 2992. But we're on local pressure when we're departing and when we're arriving. And above the transition level, that's when we start to use the standard pressure of 10113. So if I was to jump back up into the cockpit, set in local QNH here in Manchester is 988, and if I wanted to change that to standard, we would just pull that, and you can do the exact same here. Well, you actually push this one there to pop that into standard pressure. And that's obviously a massive difference between the two. So local pressure at the moment is 5,000 feet, which is what I'm holding at. And if I were to use standard pressure, or I forgot, well, there's 800 feet difference at the moment because the QNH is so low. So I'm just going to pop that back to local pressure. So hopefully that's helped give you a little bit of information on that. BritBFG, you think Fly-by-Wire are looking to simulate air conditioning according to the latest blog post? Actually, I think I do remember hearing that. Claudius, what's my longest flight from Atlanta? Never flown from Atlanta, so 0 miles. Alex, have I approached Fly-by-Wire to see if they'll include the forthcoming takeoff performance calculator in the FlyPlad? So, Alex, because the performance calculator is going to be payware, then it will not be incorporated into the Fly-by-Wire by default. Now, of course, down the line, I suppose what could happen is there may be a way of linking it in, such as they have done with the Navigraph subscription, but you'd have to ask the Fly-by-Wire team once the performance calculator is released, as that's nothing to do with me. Ellis, you've just landed at Manchester with 26 knot crosswind. I don't think so, Ellis. You may have landed with a 28 knot wind, but it wasn't a true crosswind, was it? I think the wind's something like 250. You've landed on runway 23, so I'm not going to go ahead and work out the wind component because I can't do that in my head. But you've not had a full 26 knot crosswind. You would certainly have known about that if you had. Paul Newman, 37 is still young, Gavin. Well, maybe, but the triplets don't make me feel young on a daily basis. Bravo 632, what's the best way to set up audio when using VATSIM headset and mic, or just mic and speakers? Well, I use a headset and mic, just because then I don't know. It's just simpler and easier. Personal preference, I think. Personal preference. The difference is, of course, if you've got your engine sounds coming out of external speakers, you may hear that when chatting back to air traffic control, or rather they would hear it when you're chatting back, but I guess that's sort of semi-realistic then, isn't it? Peter, you're now in charge of work schedule planning, so not much controlling as I used to, but you still have about 6 hours of control in today. Oh, that's nice. So that's good that you are still doing that. Rain is coming back again here in Manchester. So Danny, the Emirates 149 was too heavy or wasn't allowed to come to the operator to land runway 22, so they diverted. Only wonder why not to Brussels or Dusseldorf or even Luxembourg. That's a nice big runway, isn't it? ZK DOS, just popping by to say you're a big fan of these streams. Oh, thank you, ZK. I've learnt plenty from your flights and it's made my own swimming much more enjoyable. Thanks, keep them up. It would be great to see more New Zealand flights. We did one recently, didn't we? Coming into what was it? Queenstown. That's probably something we are going to start doing a few more, I think, around the world. Sort of EasyJet Sim Pilot goes on tour. Something that a few people, I'm sure, would enjoy. Danny, you were listening to the live air traffic control. Of course, I wish that was something that the UK would allow. We can't have live streamed air traffic control here in the UK, which is such a pain. Would love that. Christopher, you've been talking to a pilot friend of yours that lands regularly at Paro and asked him how long does the training take to land there. He told me a year on average, and it's captains only land there. Well, we could probably have guessed that. Definitely a captains only landing there, isn't it? Red Thread. No, I've not tried the X12 feature just yet. Michael Brief, TCAS doesn't work with Aerosoft Tool Simple Traffic. No, the TCAS only works with VATSIM traffic and Microsoft Flight Simulator's live traffic. Right, so I'm just going to catch up on the chat. Gaming Squad, how can you download other liveries for the 737? I think any other liveries that you're going to download for the sim is on from flightsim.to, or at least that's where that's what I get them. Jet2 fan says I'm going to try and get a member badge. Oh, Jet2, that would be lovely. Thank you so much. And obviously not required, but thank you anyway. Brian, how are the flex numbers compared to HD's? HD's already answered that. They're pretty close, and we're adding a few more corrections in as well over the next couple of weeks, so they should then be getting even closer. Jackery, where can you find passenger information on the easy operational flight plans? So it doesn't give you specifically how many passengers; it just gives you a payload, really. Jonathan, on the passenger loading, can you force instant as opposed to the slow load after pressing start? Yes, you can, Jonathan. Traffic. Getting traffic, getting TCAS warnings. So if I just turn on the flypad, I am aware I am behind the chat, and that's because I'm trying not to miss any questions that have come through. So if you go to the settings page, I think, is it on the sim options or is it realism? Let me see. Oh, boarding time. There it is. So there you go. I've got it set to instant, just so that's done. So that's how we do that. Right. Let me continue to scroll down. So, as I said, don't want to miss any questions. So bear with me while I'm just catching up on the chat. Jens, you have a question. Why do you fly at night so much? Usually because I'm on real world time, and I have work to do and children to look after during the day, so it's usually night time when when I'm flying. Plus, which it will get better in the summer months, won't it? Because obviously the sun is up for much longer. Magic Normal, is there a reason why you can't see the gross weight and low recam when programming the McDo? That normally becomes active once the engines have started, I think. Nomad piloting, what happens if you don't use real-time weather and time of day for VATSIM? Would they know? No, they haven't got a clue what you're using. They don't have a single clue. But their runway, they would give you the runway to fly and land on, based, of course, on real live weather. So just be aware of that. Like now, I'm flying with real live weather, but obviously not live time. I could connect to the VATSIM network and fly this flight in daylight, just because, well, what beautiful scenery there is below us. So yeah, there's no problem in doing that. Numa, if you're on a non-ILS approach, when can I decide myself how far to descend or decrease height? And when there are like many clouds, how am I supposed to land without ILS? Oh, Numa, so many questions. But what you're talking about is what's called a non-precision approach. So let me just bring up some charts and let's find an airport with a non-precision approach. So let's have a look at Lima Golf Sierra Kilo, Skiathos. Let's have a quick look. So Skiathos doesn't have an ILS. It has a visual approach. to runway 01 and runway 19. So this is the approach into Skiathos, and you have an MDA here. Minimum descent altitude is 1,600 feet. You're not allowed to descend below 1,600 feet until... sorry, if you can't see the runway. If you get a 1,600 feet and you can't see the runway, then really all bets are off. You shouldn't continue descending any lower. You need to call off the approach. Enter the hold until the weather improves, or divert to your alternate wherever that may be. Let's just see if we go to... let's try Echo Golf Delta. That's Bristol, I think, isn't it? We do Bristol. So different approaches here. We've got an ILS approach just here. Now this is just an ILS approach. It's not a Cat 2, Cat 3B. It's not an auto land system in here. So your decision altitude there is 813. If you can't see the runway by then, you're going around. If you're using an RNP approach, let's just say for some reason that the ILS system wasn't working, then in the fly-by-wire, we're not we don't have VNAV yet, so we're just using LNAV minimums. Then you can't go any lower than 920 feet. NDB approach, I imagine these minimums to be even higher. Yeah, there they are. So we've got 1,000 feet or 920 feet, depending which one you're using. So yeah, you need to respect the minimums normally on the bottom of the chart. Chris Scott, how can you save your waypoints on flight sims if you want to do the flight again? I don't know, as you can in the fly-by-wire, because it doesn't use the Azobo flight planner, does it? It uses its own custom flight planner, apart from the stable build. The stable build still uses Azobos, so you might be able to save a flight plan that way. And Track, good evening to you. True Nareen, you got Alpha Floor on cruise. Any idea why? The aircraft will have lost speed somehow. Shouldn't really happen in cruise, but yeah. You ultimately, without knowing much more about it, the aircraft will have lost too much speed and energy. Kevin, do I know where fly-by-wire are with the RNAV approach? You can still do RNAV approaches, you just can't use the final approach mode, so you have to use nav or track FPA for that. Jonathan, in keeping with Kevin, do you know when combined LNAV and VNAV will arrive? I'm afraid I don't. Sorry. Michael, hey, I always have trouble doing RNAV approaches in the 320. I enter the start and approach properly in the FMS. When I finally can't press approach on the main control panel, or FCU as it's called in the Airbus. No, Michael, that is because it's not yet working in the fly-by-wire version. It should, of course, in the real world. But because LNAV isn't sorted just yet, we can't do that. So we would have to use nav FPA mode. So if, for instance, we were here at Manchester, let's just bring that chart back up for Manchester. So if I wanted to do the RNP, have we got an RNP approach runway 23 right? Actually, we don't. We've got an RNP approach into 23 left. That's never used. What we would need to do is, you would see on your flight plan, you'd have these waypoints here: Charlie 23 Lima India, and then Lima Fox. When we got to Lima Fox, we would use the FPA mode to descend at a 3-degree flight path angle, and that would then bring us down to the runway, or within sight of the runway. Remember, this isn't an auto land, so you would have to use that method. We can't use final approach yet, so it's still doable, still usable. We just have to do a tad more work and rely a little bit less on the automation. Mark says, good evening all, thought I'd drop in, just left Manchester for Edinburgh. Very busy on VATSIM tonight around Manchester. Yes indeed. Oh, we may have just watched you. Or you may have just... we may have missed you, depending on what we were showing on screen. But yeah, lots of ATC in Manchester. Really nice. Giving us something to watch as we do this, this live Q&A. Bastian, you maybe cannot reveal a lot, but could you let us know if Phoenix 320 will be using quality of life improvements that we're used to from FlyByWire, such as SimBrief integration, EFP McDo on tablet? So Bastian, obviously because of the NDA, I can't comment on the Phoenix. All I can say about the Phoenix at this point is it's obviously still in beta, and I think you're all going to be you're going to enjoy it. When I don't know when it would be released, but of course, from everything you've seen on the Discord server, if you follow that, it's going to be a fantastic aircraft. Jens Waldron, sadly not. No. Lorenz, hello. When a transition altitude is given in the chart, standard instrument departure, do you still use that, or do you use transition level from the ATC on VATSIM if you fly on VATSIM? So that is a good question. If ATC can give you a transition level, I'll use that, but obviously if they're not online, then you can use the charts, of course. Michael, you also always get the wrong QNH. Where can you check? Use a little nav map, it shows it, but if it's not always right. So Michael, if you're in the fly-by-wire aircraft, then it's quite simple and straightforward to do. So if we go away, TCAS, TCAS Blue, we've got, if I type in Manchester Sea Echo Golf Charlie Charlie, there you go. The moment I type it in, we've got the oh, there we go. So here's the current QNH at Manchester, 988 hectopascals with showers of rain. So that's how you can always make sure you've got the correct correct QNH. Cliff, can I do an updated video settings? I did one not so long ago, I think, Cliff. Can't recall when that was actually, but it was only a couple of months back, and I don't think anything has changed from there. Michael, how do I know which transitions to pick in an approach or a departure? Unfortunately, there's no golden set rule. The biggest thing, sort of the biggest advice I can give you, because this always used to confuse me, is use the... now, if you've got a Navigraph subscription, it makes it obviously much easier. Because if let's just have a look at this arrival I was doing earlier on today. So if anyone can guess where this is, so there wasn't that much choice here coming into Funchal. The initial approach fix is usually the big giveaway. Now, if you were coming from the south, for example, and you'd got in this arrival, the Lidra 1 Papa or the Raccoon 1 Papa, and you were coming in from the south, chances are that's probably wrong, isn't it? Now, what the SimBrief, not SimBrief, what Navigraph does do very well is if I open up the origin and charts, you can use this here to pick your SID. So there's our flight route. We know we want a SID that's going to take us just here. So our standard instrument departure here would have been the Gogsy 2 Golf. If I then go to look at the approaches coming into Madeira, for example, here are all the different approaches. So you can see that our route today came in at Lidri, and that's going to be the arrival that we're going to take. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense. But yeah, these two little features here in Navigraph, very good for picking out which approach and which departure to use. Gav, good morning to you. Hope you're well. Numa on YouTube in the tablet thing, the flypad. You get a fly-by-wire message that your thrust is kind of set wrong. Where can you calibrate it? Excuse me. So, on the settings page, where's this going to be? Is it aircraft configuration? Where's it going to be? Aircraft configuration, sim options. Sim options, detents, calibrate, and you can calibrate it on here. Obviously, I'm not going to do that whilst I'm flying because all hell will break loose. But that is how you would go ahead and calibrate it. Fly with Rev, hello to you. Michael, how do you pick transitions for the citizen stars? The best way there, Michael, is you again would just look at the. You would have to look at the charts and check the transitions. For example, if let's just pull up a couple of charts from Heathrow. So if we were arriving on, don't know why I've picked this one, but if we were arriving on the Honley 1 Hotel arrival, I don't know if this is a common one, but Honley 1 Hotel arrival, you've got that in your McDo as your star, then you're coming in either via Bovingdon, or if that's not available, let's have a look at an arrival for 27 right. Bovingdon's not actually shown up here, so I would suggest that Bovingdon would be the one that you're going to be using. So it's usually, not always, but it's usually the end of the star. So for this one, for example, you're coming in via Ockingham, because that's the end of the star there. The Hazel arrival, again, is Ockingham. The Lambourne arrival is Biggin. So yeah, the end of the star is usually a good place to start. The other thing you can do, of course, is once you've got it programmed in, have a look at the navigation display. If it looks wrong, then chances are it possibly is. There's a non-radar arrival for Heathrow. Is there? What's that called? RNAV DME. Why would Heathrow have a non-radar arrival? Overload procedure. RNAV arrival. RNAV arrival. RNAV arrival. RNAV. 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 Is this going to be included in Navigraph charts? That one's RNAV. That's RNAV. Initial approach from Biggin. So you can see there Biggin is initial approach fix. So yeah, that would work. And so these would be your veers here. You've got Biggin. Is that Bovingdon? Is that Bovingdon? Yeah, Lambourne and Ockham. Could it be in the? Could it be in the approach tab? Let's see. Procedure to be used in event of a radio failure following a missed approach. That looks messy, doesn't it? But yeah, normally I would hasten a guess that to find the correct via, it's usually the last waypoint on the star. Was it that one HD you wanted, the LS DME or LOC DME? That's the problem with the stream being 30 seconds behind, isn't it? Good evening, Nick. Hope you're well. Nick and Nate, you're playing whenever you spawn on the runway or while taxi for some reason locks its left steering or the plane recenters towards the north. It all started after you downloaded a Lockheed Martin mod. Help. I would try removing that mod and see if it helps. HD, I'm going to leave this page up and I'll let you choose which one you thought it was. Good evening, Digital Flight Deck. Hope you're well. I'm not flying tonight, Digital. 10-2 Papa, thank you. 10-2 Papa. Initial approach from Biggin. Oh, there you go. Initial approach without radar control from Biggin to the ILS. There it is. Okay, what is meant by lock approaches and NDBNE? NDB approaches, perhaps? All you know is ILS. They're just different kinds of approaches. So the ILS is a precision approach. All the others are non-precision approaches. Gav, thank you very much for your $5 Australian super chat. Good morning to you, Gav. Of course, been down there in Australia. Lufthansa 747. Wonder where he's headed off to. Anyone with VATSIM can find that out. There's an EasyJet departing. I was hoping tonight to see some sort of wobbles on the arrival routes this evening. With the new velocity on VATSIM, would have been kind of cool to see a few wavy wings as they go over the threshold. Nick, you removed the Lockheed Martin mod and it didn't help. It doesn't affect some planes like the default A320. In that case, I'd remove Lockheed Martin mod and then reinstall the fly-by-wire mod just to see if that will help. And Christian, by the way, if you have a calculator at hand, you can do sinus calculations. It's pretty easy to calculate the crosswind component. In other words, wind 278 at 50 knots, and you want to land runway 33. You take the wind angle, which is 278 minus 330, which equals 52. Now you take the sin of 51 and multiply it by the wind. So sin, I think you mean 52 there, right? Sin 52 times 50 equals 39.4. Christian, ouch. I haven't had enough caffeine for that calculation. Ben, good evening. I haven't done SOHCAHTOA calculations since I was in school. Simple takeoffs, those are non-precision approaches where there's no vertical guidance. Yes, yeah. Ibrahim saying if you don't have the updated waypoints, such as from a Navigraph subscription, that can cause issues. That can, of course, because obviously the waypoints may no longer exist, or new ones may be now available in the world. Virtual Pilot says music is as busy as hell. Yeah, always nice and busy, isn't it? Germany's always busy every night, but Wednesdays especially. Martin, you've just installed VPilot. Everything works great, except you can't assign any keys to push to talk. VPilot freezes, then crashes. You run both VPilot and Microsoft as admin. Any ideas what could be the cause? I have absolutely no idea. I've never heard about that. I don't know if anyone else in the chat is able to help you, Martin. I'd perhaps try and do that without anything else running other than VPilot. See if that helps. Gav, thank you once again for that. Just catching up with the chat. Ben747 looks weird on your VATSIM. What are you missing? Done some model matching. So I'm using AIG model matching, which I've now been told is now back up and running. So you can go to the AIG site and download any airlines that you want. HD, you use FlySpot. Yeah, it's a lot easier. Digital, that all sounded suspiciously like maths. Yeah, we don't like that. Sam, hey Gav, your QNH is not blinking when passing the transition altitude. Any ideas? You're using the dev mode. Could be a bug, or are you entering it into your performance page? That's another thing. Numa, am I on the normal online servers from Microsoft Flight Sim that everyone can go into? No, I'm currently live on VATSIM. Barry Fox, hi, don't know what I'm doing, but importing SimBrief and the autopilot doesn't file over flight plan. Okay, Barry, SimBrief, importing that file and then loading it into the world screen of Microsoft Flight Simulator, do you mean? If you're doing that, that will only work if you're flying the stable build of the fly-by-wire mod. The dev build and the experimental build no longer work with the Azobo flight planner. so you just have to import that automatically using the McDo feature. Watch any of the live streams and you'll see me doing that right at the start, and that should get you going. Simple takeoffs. Am I using the Google Maps mod? You switched last night. Don't think you'll go back. Simple takeoffs. No, I'm not. This is just all default Bing traffic. There's an aircraft there whose airline I don't have installed. What is that? If someone could let me know. Very intrigued when I find one that I don't have. It could of course be a virtual airliner, so I obviously won't have those. Christopher, good morning. Any ideas how to get the retardant V1 announcements back on? Your A320 are now missing. V1 announcements? I didn't know FlyByWire had them. Not by default, anyway. As for the retard calls, if you're not hearing that, then it must mean you're cutting thrust at the correct time. It's usually a reminder that you've forgotten it, unless you're doing an auto land, in which case it is an instruction. Gav says, thanks for the streams, have learned so much from yourself and this is a great community. Oh Gav, you're very, very welcome. And indeed the community has made it so much fun, and of course it's you guys that are helping us get up to oh boy, I've just double checked, we're nine subscribers away from 20,000, which is phenomenal. It really is. So a big thank you for that. DRD Flyer, hello. Just wanted to say hi. You have to run an errand, but we'll watch later. DRD Flyer, thank you for stopping by. Hope you're having a good day. Julian, flight sim's not launching after the latest update. Any ideas, please? Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Try running that and nothing else. But other than that, it may sound like an reinstall jobby. Nick, have you just asked which airport I'm at? Seriously? The fact there's a big I Heart Manchester on the floor there. And Nick, you know Manchester Airport well enough to recognise this, I'm sure. HD says, just in time to jump in ahead of me. Christian, it was RUK. I say over Ryanair UK. There's a Ryanair UK? Since when? Goodness me. Did not know that. Rick, just been a go around at Manchester. You mean in real life? Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me one bit. I've just had a text message actually, so I'm going to just give a shout out before this happens. Storms have caused damage to the electricity network, so if you have no power, please let us know at Northern Power Grid. So if I suddenly disappear, it means I'm sat in the dark on my own, because we've had a power cut, so apologies for that. Dave, evening, I've missed the Q&As, but think they are superb. Keep up the good work. We're still here, Dave. We're still here for a little bit. I'm not shooting off just yet, unless there's a power cut and I don't have any choice. Surprised Nick didn't see the pub. Yeah, exactly. I love the airport pub. Really do. Ibrahim, have I tried touch and goes with the A320 Microsoft Flight Simulator? Yeah, we've done base training. We've done base training a live stream, and we've also done base training as a tutorial video. So go and check that out. Nick, you saw that I Heart Manchester. Now you're just watching on a small screen. Oh, I shall forgive you then. Jonathan, which pushback mod do I use? So I actually use two. I use Pushback Helper just because I find that controls the doors and things a lot better just for self-loading cargo. But then in the sim for the actual pushback, I use toolbar pushback. Numa on YouTube, which website do I get my liveries from? So it's the AIG mods that you're seeing here on stream. So it's AIG. Galgara, I am very well. Thank you so much for asking. Hope you're well yourself. Christian says Nick's drunk again. Possibly. He may have been flying over some churches. Rusfib, hey, love the stream, watching at work. What is the sound mod you use in the top right hand corner to change the volumes of different sounds? I don't use any sound mob, Rotofib, so I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about there. I definitely don't use a sound mob. All the sounds you're hearing are just standard. Lucas Midden, hello mate, I hope you're well. Just joining from work. I hope you're on a break, or is work just boring? Nick has found the airline that I didn't have. I can update the model matching for that because it's just going to be another Ryanair livery, isn't it? So that's pretty much straightforward. HD, no, we've not done a bulk landing video yet, but it's a good idea. That's something to come. Something to come, isn't it? Vertipilot, am I using SU8 beta? And if so, what do I think about it? I'm not, no. And I don't know if there's an NDA associated with that. Maybe someone on here could possibly tell me. If that is the case, it would be no good for me because then I wouldn't be able to stream, would I? If I was using that. Lucas, you finished work. Oh, fair enough. DC, good evening to you. So, let me just update you on the performance calculator. This tonight has now been updated, so in fact I'm going to check this. It's still in beta, so let's see if we can break it. Let's have a look at Manchester. So runway 23 right, get the METAR. Winds are 26031, gusting 43. Ouch. Lucas, FlyByWire have updated the refined auto land. You've never had issues with it. Can I talk about what's changed? I can't, Lucas, because I have no idea. I've not seen much from FlyByWire for the last 48 hours, just because I've not had a chance to sort that. Ibrahim, those are not AIs. No, they are VATSIM traffic, so they're real life pilots that are currently flying. Oh, Martin, you fixed the push-to-talk issue. That's great news. So you'll be able to do that. Just check, of course, that whatever key you've used for the push-to-talk issue is not bound to anything in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Otherwise, that will cause you some issues. Right, let's put anti-ice to off. Takeoff weight. Let's go with a lightweight. Let's call it. Let's go 65 tons. Normal CFG. Takeoff thrust flex. Config 1 off. Calculate that. So there we go. We've got. Ooh, that's interesting. Not only that, the maximum takeoff weight is also working. I didn't know that had been updated. Well done. So thrust reduction acceleration is showing correct as well now. Where was the airport that I messed up with this last night? That was... Where was it? Oh, that was Bordeaux. Oh, I don't think that information's been brought in there yet, so that's that wouldn't be there. So if we now choose Toga, let's see if the V-speeds change. So takeoff thrust to Toga, recalculate. Oh, there we go. Much lower. That's great to see that maximum takeoff weight information is in, and the Toga V-speeds are now in. So this is getting better now every couple of days with these updates. If we change the takeoff weight, let's go to. So that's maximum takeoff weight. That's based on, of course, the runway length, etc. Let's go to, was it Bordeaux? LFBD. Let's just try that. How long's the runway at Bordeaux? Oh, it's a little bit shorter. The weather looks much nicer there, doesn't it? Keep that. Let's go back to flex config 1. There we go. We've got maximum takeoff weight shown there as well. Let's just try a Toga. Yeah, so if the information for thrust reduction acceleration hasn't yet been added to the app, then thrust reduction acceleration is only showing one value, at the moment. But if I put that to toga, does that change? Indeed it does. Great stuff. Really looking forward to getting this out, as I know it's going to be very, very useful. HD says try leads. Is it Mike November? November Mike? Leads, there we go. I don't do leads. Oh, that's going to be horrible today, isn't it? Get the METAR for that. What's the winds doing there? Gusting 57 knots. No chance. Anti-ice off. Keep it at 65. Let's do a flex and pop that in there. Let's throw the weight up, shall we? Let's go to... there you go. Maximum takeoff weight there is just under 78 tons. So if we put in 77 tons and try to do that on config 1, it will allow that. And a flex of 41. I think that'd be okay, wouldn't it? But if we went toga, of course, what does that give us? Slightly lower V speeds. Oh, that's a really good test, actually, isn't it? A very good test. Great stuff. Christian, try flaps 2 at Gibraltar. You want to see the result. What weight, Christian? I'll put Gibraltar in there. Is it runway 09? HD 41 is wrong. Yeah, it shouldn't be any lower than 45 at the moment, should it? Given the altitude. I thought that coding had been added in. We'll have to check that. We'll discuss that later. What's the wind doing? 27. Let's change that. Runway condition dry. Anti-ice off. So, Christian, you want the maximum takeoff weight. So 77. And flaps, flex at flaps 1. Will that allow it? Ah, no. Flex takeoff is not possible on this runway at the inputted weight. Use toga or try a higher configuration. Flaps 2. Nope. Flaps 3. Nope. Toga. Oh, we broke it. In fact, oh. Config 3 toga. No, it doesn't like it. We've broke something. Oh well, that's something to diagnose later. Peter, thank you again for your very, very kind donation and making me laugh at the same time. Peter, wife in a stay, off undress, gotta go. Pardon? Have a great stream. I wish I'd not read that out now. Christian says try 75 tons. Go on then, we'll try 75. Nope. Still toga config 1. No, it's not liking this. It's really not liking it at all. Oh, there we go, I've got one. Toga config 3 works. I'm presuming when we're getting when we're getting no values, it's because it's not permissible. But we obviously need to go ahead and clean that up. We don't want any ambiguity with that. And we can have a look at that a little bit later. These are all the things that we want to test before we get it released, of course. So there we are. Christopher, you've managed to get the Thrustmaster Officer Pack for £99. That is amazing. You're looking out for the add-on pack now as well. Golgoy, what am I using add-on wise? I'm going to do a video showing you what mods I'm currently using. Oh, yeah, we can't actually... I didn't realise the maximum takeoff weight was there. I keep forgetting maximum takeoff weight is now in there for every runway because it's not dependent on thrust reduction acceleration values. So maximum takeoff weight isn't permitted at 74. I wonder if... well, let's just go 74 then. Yeah, it's not actually changed very much there. Will it allow that? Oh, that's interesting. Maximum takeoff weight is now disappeared and broke. Should be testing this live on stream. Config 1. It's computer says no. But yeah, that is accurate. 74. Toga. Flaps 3. We can use those speeds. But yeah, we just want to get the little bugs and things that we've just witnessed sort of tweaked so that that doesn't happen. In fact, the fact that I've now got this on record, I can go back and refer to this so we can sort that out. But that's nice. Liam, when's this takeoff calculator been released? It should be in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Say maximum takeoff weight has been added today. Toga values have been added today as well. So that's nice. As Christian says, it'll be released when the bugs are gone. Don't like releasing things with bugs in them. Right, the approach looks rather empty at the moment, so I tell you what, it's rather windy. Does anyone want to see me try and approach here into Manchester? How does that sound? We are on VATSIM. I'm not going to connect to the VATSIM network live, of course. I'm just in observer mode at the moment. HD, there's an EasyJet diverting at Manchester. That could be me in a minute. Okay, what does the limitation row mean? So do you mean the... the limitations. That just tells us it's the takeoff weight, isn't it, that's limited. I think we're going to have to just come out with a little bit of a manual there. Difference between maximum takeoff weight and regulated takeoff weight. Sam says that the EasyJet gone around again. Why is that the second time? That would be interesting. J-Hog, I'm not going into Leeds. No chance. Right. So where are we? Okay, let's have I got it programmed in? Yeah, 109.5. I'm not going to do this completely correctly. We're just going to try and get a landing in to finish the stream. So I'm going to leave the hold. We're currently at are we at green dot? Why are we not at managed speed? Right. So we're now at green dot, 5,000 feet. I'll leave the hold in a moment, and we'll come in for a landing on runway 23. Right, what have we got on the flight plan page? So there we go. Right. So if we leave, this would actually be quite nice to see if it test to see if it flies this. Right. Let's start our descent down to the platform altitude, which I know Manchester is 3,500 feet. So thrust idle, open descent. Down we go. Let's see if it flies the full procedure quite nicely. This will be an excellent test to see if this this works, and then it'll also be a test of my landing capabilities as well. So down we go. We're going to leave the hold. Oh, just not quite right there. I don't want it to fly back towards Mike Charlie Tango VOR. So let's go direct to 23 Romeo. Does that put that back into nav mode for us? Yes, it has. There we are. Christian, 21.5 knot crosswind with those gusts. Oh, thank you. Let's see what happens, shall we? Just slow down that rate of descent. Particularly as we're at green dot already. Is the anti-ice on? Indeed it is. That was forward planning, wasn't it? For those of you watching as well who may be in the USA, the performance calculator will come with an option of popping them into pounds. In fact, I think that might already be there. Yeah, so it will pop it into pounds as well. Maybe that's not yet been coded. Oh, I think I broke it again. Might need to restart it after changing the settings, but again, that's something to tweak. Okay, so coming down to that platform altitude, we should see the fly-by-wire now fly nicely this little circular arc back in and round, capture the ILS. Is everyone got Flight Radar 24 open as well? Watching all the go-arounds. Shall we see if I can get in? Look at the wind, you can see it now, 62 knots. Right, I'm going to start configuring. We've got the glide slope coming up to meet, so we'll go flaps 1, speeds checked. Flaps 1. And we'll reduce our speed 180 knots. All the lights are already on. Seatbelt signs are on. As I say, I'm not doing this with too much realism. There's that glide slope now coming above us quite nicely.
2,500.
Radio altimeter is alive. This is really neat, watching it fly the full procedure. I've not done this before.
$2,500.
If we had lost comms, then this is what we'd be doing. Just see as well that arc getting slightly smaller as we reduce speed. Tell you what I will do, guys, just for complete fun, especially if I mess this up, let me just very quickly put on the dev mode. I hate the fact that you've got to do this, but apply and save, go back, resume. We've now got the replay function available. I can now exit dev mode. Strange that you have to do that. Fly half the Ryanair just landed, did it? Excellent. I keep getting messages from the Northern Power Grid. I'm not sure the power here is going to last the night, to be honest with you, from what they're saying. 5 subscribers away, guys. We are 5 subscribers away from 20,000 subs. This is one of my favourite approaches. I know it's not the most scenic approach, but what I love about this is the fact that what I'm looking at here down below is what I've seen so many times in real life, and I've driven along what's called the Woodhead Pass down here, seen all the aircraft doing this time and time again. It's fantastic that we've got a simulator as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator to give us these kinds of views virtually. This is going to be kind of a fun way to end the stream, isn't it? A gusty approach into Manchester. DW, watch back the stream probably about half an hour, 40 minutes ago, and we answered that question.
2,500.
Okay, so Gladstone Blue, Lockstar, Cat 3 Dual, Autopilot 1 and 2. Ding the cabin.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
The Ryanair flight to Leeds is diverted to Liverpool. Yeah, that's a good shout. Okay, we'll get flaps 2 up then when the Gladstone starts to head down. Christian says try it with the auto thrust off. Get lost. I'm EasyJet, no, not Lufthansa. Right. Captured. And look at that crab angle. Clouds aren't too low, so we should have visual quite early on. What are the winds in Liverpool, HD? Just out of interest. I haven't seen the winds in Liverpool at all. I'm going to guess they're actually probably similar to Manchester's, aren't they? They're only about 20 miles away from each other. And they're closer to the coast, so perhaps more exposed. Virtual Pilot, I use custom views, which is the Alt and then any number you want keys. Right, 14 miles out. Well, whether we make it or not, this is looking rather beautiful, isn't it? HD, it's gusting 45 knots. Yeah. Where is nice in England today? Could they have gone to Newcastle? The winds are coming from the west, aren't they? So, a bit more protection perhaps in Newcastle. Tell you what I will do. I'm going to go flaps 2 now. Speed checked. Flaps 2. Oh, I've not filled this in. Anyone to grab me the METAR super quickly? I'm just going to put 200 feet in there for the barrow. I can't do that. Is it 400? Told you I wasn't doing this properly. Right, glide slope capture in a second. The reason I want to do this is I wanted to increase the VAP speed to try and get in. There we go, glide slope capture, misapproach altitude is 3,500 feet. 10 mile final. Christian, thank you, 26031. Transition altitude, no idea what it is. Let me just put 5,000 feet in there so that's sorted. Right, VAP, yeah, okay. Let's go 135, shall we? And there's the runway. What's that aircraft doing over there? Or is that on the ground or not? I can't really tell.
2,500.
Put the temperature in as well. I don't think that makes a difference, but there it is. Gatwick JJ would be a good shout for an EasyJet base. That all looted, of course. Stansted as well. Looks like that aircraft I can see is actually on final. Oh, should we do flap 3? A flap 3 landing. Yeah, well, go on then, why not? So, config 3. Gear down. Start slowing to final approach speed. 6.5 miles out. Arm the spoilers. And flaps 3. Let's start the replay, shall we? So we can have a laugh later. Oh, that crab angle. Tell you what, I don't think I've had weather this bad doing a landing in the sim, so this is going to be a test, not just for me, but a test to see just how well the live weather is doing. How late do we leave the autopilot on? Digital says, see, I knew you'd be flying tonight. Sort of. Right, let's keep an eye then on the winds. The runway, the pappies, and get ready for what is not going to be a smooth landing. This would be, though, if we did it, a wonderful way to pass over to the 20,000 subscriber mark. 3 subscribers to go. Autopilot disengaged. I have control. HD says hammer the hump down. I might do that whether I want to or not. It's the gusts that are going to get us, if anything does.
500.
And then kicking the rudder just as we touch down.
400.
This is getting bumpy.
300. 200. Minimum.
We'll continue.
100.
Force it down.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
Center line. Brakes. Spoilers. Reverse green. 70 knots. Reverses off. Well, that could have gone worse. Tell you what, I thought the flight sim did a fantastic job of replicating the real weather there. There were a couple of moments whilst we were still a few hundred feet above the runway that you really did feel that and had to correct for it. Right, let's check out the replays, see if it looked as good as I thought it did from a pilot's perspective. So we'll hold that there. HD says that was boring. High kudos indeed. Let's stop the replay. Let's play the replay. We've now got live weather is still active, of course, so you've got you have a slight change in the weather in terms of rain and things. Let's change the camera view. Christian, you expected something much more spectacular. Matthew, awesome job. Fly half impressed. What app or web do I use for the performance calculations? So Superdil at the moment we're using I'm using this one, which is in beta but will be released soon. 2 to 3 weeks hopefully. Ben says that's better than my normal landings. There was a the weather was quite kind just at the last sort of last 50 feet or so. Comrig, you're not a fan of the Microsoft Flight Simulator replay? I don't mind it. It's just not very intuitive, is it?
1,000.
We'll have a look at this from the pilot's perspective, and then we shall maybe look outside. See what it looked like from a spectator's point of view. So it was about here. You can just see us waving a little bit. It was about here that you started to feel those gusts as we were getting lower down. Christian, you want the default landing gear camera view? We can do that.
500.
So if we just go to... Where is it, that one? Or is it a showcase one? No, it's... is it this one? I have no idea how you get to that, I'm afraid. Oh, I can tell we're still on VATSIM. Should we just get rid of VATSIM? Because that's going to spoil things a little bit. We'll get rid of that.
100.
So there you can just see that's where it was
50,
just a little bumpy.
30, 20, 10, 5.
So let's rewind that. Can I pause and rewind as it is there? Oh no, I have to stop the camera track recording, don't I? There. Start a new track recording, and if I jump to the view here, that should work. You are right, Combrig, that is not it's not intuitive, not in the slightest. I'm not also sure how the weather plays a part on this external replay either. Oh, nice. We just saw the right hand touch down first before the left, which, given the winds coming from the right, was is good. So, Christian, how do I get that? How do I get that view that you were after? We'll try once more, and then I think we'll be about done for the day. So, is it the external one? Default view. Do I need to extend that window? I haven't got any different views there, which is strange. Don't know where they've all gone. Weird. Not even the smart cam targets are working. Oh, yes they are, but I'm not going to use them. I think that's the end of the replay, which is why that stopped. Yes, it is. Well, I'm going to leave you then. If I can't find that, I am going to leave you with my personal favourite view, and that is, and always shall be, the. Oh, hang on. How's this view? We'll have a we'll have a tail view for the landing. Should we try that? I just want to rewind it a little bit. See if I can get a tail view landing there. Oh goodness me. Right, there we go. Right guys, I'm going to let this play out. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's slightly different stream. I know the Q&A sections are great for people who have got those questions that I never actually get around to during the real flights. But thank you so much for coming along tonight. Hope it has been useful for you, and hope you enjoyed the landing at the end, which I'm going to play out now with the tail cam view, and we can see there the crab angle just as we just as we start. Thank you so much, guys. I look forward to seeing you all again on the next live flight, and we are so close to hitting that 20,000 mark. Do you know what? In fact, we've done it. 20,000 on the nose. Thank you so much, guys, to each and every one of you for helping us reach that magic number, 20,000 subscribers in about 18 months of the channel being alive. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. I can't tell you what that means. Well, I'm going to leave you an extremely happy virtual pilot this evening. Thank you so much, and of course, to celebrate 20,000, we're going to have to come up with something special. It will be an all-day stream event, but we'll start planning that and give you guys something to look forward to. Thank you so much to all the supporters of the channel. Thank you so much to HD, of course, for all his insight, and to the EasyJets in Pilot channel members for helping me continue to make this this channel as popular as it has become. Thank you so much, everybody. I look forward to a 20,000 special all-day event at some point, and of course we will advertise that, so we've got plenty of time to get that organised and sorted. And I'm sure HD can think of something. Right, guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. I'm certainly going to enjoy it as we leave you with that news. Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Good night.